Hi, I'm Richard McKenzie, co-author of Microeconomics for MBAs. In this video module, we will take up the regulation of monopoly price and also take up the taxation of monopoly profits. You may recall from earlier video modules that when we impose a price control in a competitive market, a shortage invariably emerges. Here we have the standard supply and demand curve graph. If we impose a price control equal to PC, it's got to be below the price P1, that is a price ceiling. It's got to be below P1 or else it will have no effect. If you impose it at price P2, the price will always be at P1. Well, a price control at PC will mean that the quantity supplied in the market will fall to Q2, the quantity demanded will go up to Q3, and we have a shortage in the market equal to this. The main thing here is that the quantity available goes down. Now, there may be all kinds of quality adjustments, which, as we have shown in a previous video module, can reduce the cost of production to producers and can reduce the demand on the consumer side. The result of which is a shortage will be less than what is indicated here. But no matter what, the result is less is going to be available on the market. Now, if we start with the monopoly price, for example, we have a firm, a monopoly, charging a price of PM that maximizes monopoly profits, and it does so because it is equating where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. Then it's possible that a price control can actually cause the monopolist to expand production. For example, suppose that the regulators do indeed force the monopolist to charge a price of PC. Well, that means the monopolist can't charge more than PC on the first unit, which means that the marginal revenue on the first unit is not way up here, but is here, PC. It means that the marginal revenue on the second unit is also PC, on the third unit, the fourth unit, and so on up the line. The moral of the story is that with a price control, the marginal revenue curve that the monopolist faces is going to be equal to PC. When, in fact, the firm weighs off the marginal revenue versus marginal cost, it will end up producing a quantity QC. The moral of this story is if the regulators can pick out PC, then they can indeed cause the monopolist to expand production. And you may recall the inefficiency triangle ABC. Well, with this price control, that inefficiency is eliminated. The problem with this theory, if there is one, is that the regulators are going to depend on the monopolist for its cost structure. And of course, if the monopolist knows that its price is going to be chosen based on what it reports as its marginal cost, you might imagine that the monopolist could report its marginal cost as equal to MC2, not MC1. The result is that the regulators could, in fact, cause the monopolist to charge a price of PM, which is no different than the monopolist would charge anyway. I can note in passing that the regulators can indeed force the monopolist to charge so little, say price P1, that you do get a shortage. But the moral of the story is that it is at least conceptually plausible that there is some price control, some price ceiling that can cause a monopolist to expand its output. Now we can turn now to the problem of taxing monopoly profits. Here's a graph used in a previous video module. We noted that the revenues of the firm are going to be equal to PM times QM. That means its revenues will be bounded by 0 PM QM. Its costs are going to be ATC1 times QM, which means its costs are going to be 0, ATC1, B, and Q1. The profits will be equal to ATC1 PMAB. Now let's suppose that the taxing authorities decide to take 50% of the firm's monopoly profits, 50% of this box. Will that profit tax affect the firm's output? And the answer is no, because the taxing authorities are going to be taxing monopoly profits, and this will be the maximum monopoly box. Taking 50% of that maximum leaves the monopolist with the maximum amount of after-tax profit. If the firm were to restrict output, then it would have less profits and it would have less after-tax profits. The problem here is that the taxing authorities don't always tax pure monopoly rent or pure monopoly profits. What they oftentimes do is tax the bottom line of a firm's accounting statements. That is, it taxes its book profits. And the book profits may not account for the risk costs or opportunity costs that firms have to incur. If that is the case, then what they will be doing is taxing resources, which means that the result can be that the cost curves of the firm go up. The result in this case is that the monopolist restricts output due to the profit tax, the book profit tax, and the price goes to PM star. So the moral of the story here is that government authorities can indeed control monopolies, but they got to be very careful. Taxing monopoly profits, taxing book profits can in fact cause the price of the good to go up to consumers and can restrict output by more than what the monopolist would choose to produce. It is conceivable that a government regulator can impose a price ceiling on a monopolist that will in fact raise the output level. But it's just as conceivable that such a price ceiling will cause the monopolist to distort its books, distort its cost structure, and as a consequence of the price ceiling can be ill-conceived on the part of the governmental authorities. Thank you for being with me.